Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar from nShift, the first in a series. And today we're going to focus on the link between promise made in a checkout and the perfect delivery experience for a customer. My name is Johan Hellman, and I'm here representing nShift. I'm the VP of Product at nShift, and I've been working in this industry, and by that I mean the logistics and the delivery experience industry for over 20 years. Always trying to figure out what's the best possible delivery experience and how can you get that to the consumer in the end. And as probably all of us know, the key to a really good delivery experience is definitely the carrier. So we thought it would make sense to have someone here that really knows the carrier business. So I would like to introduce Boris Hueske, who is here representing heyworld. So Boris, please tell us about yourself and your company.
Yeah, thanks, Johan, and nShift for the opportunity to share our view on delivery experiences. I'm Boris Hueske, one of the two managing directors of heyworld. I'm more than 20 years within the air freight and logistics industry in different roles, doing sales, strategy, revenue management, setting up two corporate ventures, and last role was in digital transformation. And since 2 years now, I'm with heyworld, and heyworld is a service provider for cross-border B2C e-commerce transportation solutions based on air freight services, as we are a 100% daughter company of Lufthansa Cargo. We are not limited in using the capacity of Lufthansa Cargo, but obviously we benefit from the dense network, especially here in Frankfurt, where we are also based. So this gives us a huge opportunity to deliver a fast network to our customers. We are about 5 years old and have live solutions for our B2C services in Europe, in UK, and the US. And we provide services along the full supply chain from warehouse to door, which we also customize for our customers and adopt to local needs. We have an own sorting facility here in Frankfurt, directly at the airport, which allows us to handle more than 100,000 parcels a day for our customers from a broad range of varieties. We have large international marketplaces as our customers, but also brands and small and medium-sized companies and e-tailers across the globe.
Thank you, Boris, and really nice to have you here. And we'll come back a little bit more to also what heyworld does more in detail and what the type of actor you are.
Yeah.
But before we do that, we thought it would make sense to actually ask the audience here a small poll, because we're basically going to discuss 3 questions today. What makes a perfect delivery experience, and how can you balance delivery experience and delivery cost, and also what's next. But in order to kind of try to pin down a little bit what we mean by perfect delivery experience, we wanted to ask you, what do you think is most important for a consumer at the point of checkout when they make the choice when it comes to delivery? So, and we made this poll. We made a poll way back with consumers. So I will come back to the answer we got from the consumers. But it was also interesting to hear what you guys listening today, what you think. So at the end of the webinar, we will compare your guess, let's say, consumers thinks with what they actually say. So please take the poll that's on your screen now, and then we will move on. So the first question we're asking ourselves is what makes a perfect delivery experience? What's important for consumers to really feel that this is something super great? So what's your take on this, Boris? What do you think is important?
I mean, on a general perspective, delivery experience is part of the total customer experience. And to be very broad, this is in general about matching the customer's expectations and keep what you have promised as a retailer, as a e-commerce player, because keeping what was promised obviously drives major parts of the expectations. If we step into some more details, especially in terms of delivery, I think it's closely to what you have also already took here in the poll. It's definitely about speed. It's about transparency in delivery experience. It's most likely about cost, and I think what's becoming even more important in these days is the ability, to select, to have choices in the delivery.
And I guess, I mean, on that note, it's not the same for everyone, right? I mean, different
Exactly.
people will have different opinions what perfect is.
Yeah, and that is exactly the point. Yeah, to make that possible for the customer drives delivery experience on the one hand, and on the other hand, it drives obviously also complexity, which needs to be managed. Yeah, and if you just look at speed, speed is has different meanings of being fast, but also being in time. And at the end, we are all human beings. Yeah, we are all consumers, and we all know that we would like to have our wishes fulfilled immediately, more or less. Yeah, and we are also somehow all primed by Amazon, although Amazon Prime is not available in every market, but everybody, has some connections and expectations to delivery speed. So fast shipping options are definitely something customers are looking for. But also with accurate delivery times, meaning the package arrives on or before the expected date. So that is a quite important topic for customers. And
sometimes, I mean, fast, but at the same time, I may not be home, right? So maybe I want it to be poodo so that I can,
of
it should be
course,
there quickly, but
yeah,
I can actually wait until I pick it up, like when it's at perfect timing for me.
exactly. And I mean, if that's about choices, it's about choices of the last mile carrier that delivers to my home door, to a PUDO, to a place that I could define a last mile carrier that delivers in a time slot I selected, if possible. That is something that drive convenience, or even potentially rescheduling the delivery to a point in time which is more convenient for me. And all that is somehow obviously connected to transparency. So really see in real time where is my shipment, what's the shipping status, do I get delivery notifications, and closely related to that, what about communication? Get clear and proactive communication about any potential delays or issues, updates, potentially even where the driver is right now. All of that, provides transparency and also builds trust, in the prospective delivery. And the downside, obviously, of that, the more convenient, most likely, the more costly the whole service is. And customers still, I would say, have the expectations that, services in the delivery field are more or less for free, or should hardly cost anything. And that is the challenge. We all have to overcome to drive customer experience and delivery experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. So maybe let's look a little bit more in practice then. How can that actually be done?
Yeah, maybe switch to the next slide. Yeah, exactly. So I think we described the left side, what the e-commerce businesses are driven by in matching delivery experiences. And I believe that we as heyworld, together with you guys, with nShift, have an offer for that. Yeah, so what heyworld is doing is we are offering the full supply chain B2C cross-border that might be related to custom services, but as we offer that also within Europe, it must not be related to custom services. But yeah, we drive everything from pickup at the warehouse of the e-commerce business, full stack of IT connectivity to the service provider along the supply chain, providing label generation and obviously tracking. We could also adopt the tracking to certain modules specifically required by the e-commerce businesses. And yeah, we connect markets, especially distant markets, through air. Not only through air, but mainly through air. So that drives speed in the line haul and therefore total speed in the delivery time, which makes it really attractive for our customers to select a service that allows at least a speedy option. And we connected to local last mile services so that our customers have different options to select for their customers.
So I guess what it means is that me as a consumer, I'm not seeing heyworld, let's say, on the van that delivers to me on the pivot point. I will see something I'm very familiar with, something local that I feel that this is.
Obviously, yeah. We are in the background. We arrange and orchestrate the whole supply chain, but the consumer and at the end also the e-commerce business will only see the last mile carrier of choice being present at the doorstep, but also on the website.
And I think it's something we also see from sort of talking to our customers, that many times the carriers, the local carriers, they have very strong brands. They invest a lot in their own brand, so they have high brand recognition. And if you're a retailer and you want to, you know, proceed as local, you can piggyback on that a bit, like offering a delivery service that is the local, you know, the local brand might feel then more secure and convenient for consumer versus having a carrier that has no presence in that market and you wouldn't recognize.
Yeah, totally true. Up to the point that there are different preferences in every country in terms of home delivery or delivery to a PUDO that varies across the countries and cultures, at least what we could see. And therefore, it's also important to have local knowledge, local last mile delivery services with all their also innovation they have in terms of the convenience we just described before.
Makes sense. So if I try to sum up then basically what I hear you saying there. So the right delivery option for each customer is key for a perfect delivery experience, and that's different also across different consumers. Some people like home delivery, some people like PUDO delivery or parcel shop delivery. It's also different across countries. Some countries are very much home delivery countries, other ones they just love parcel lockers and so on. So that's one. Keeping the customer promise every time. Maybe it's obvious, but I think it's not that easy in reality that you give the consumer an option in the checkout. They choose it, maybe they convert because that option was there. Now you have to deliver it as the retailer. You need to make sure it actually happens. And probably closely tied to that, it's the end-to-end visibility that customer. Now you're in the you're anticipating your delivery, and now you really want to be able to track it all the way to know when it's coming. Is it coming as expected? Are there any issues? Maybe I need it for a special occasion. So yeah, that's the perfect delivery experience. Let's move on then to the next question we have. So how can an e-com brand then balance this sort of, I mean, of course, everyone wants the perfect delivery experience, but everyone also needs to be, you know, make some sort of profit ideally, or at least manage their costs in a good way. So how can e-com brands balance this sort of, I assume it's sort of a contradiction here between experience and cost. I mean, what's your thoughts here, Boris?
I think this is more or less in a supply chain, a kind of classic conflict that might arise, for example, of central warehousing that tends to be more cost effective, but also can result in longer delivery times and higher shipping costs for the e-commerce business that is located far away from certain markets, for example. On the other hand, you could try to have a kind of decentralized approach with multiple warehouses close to customers to reduce shipping costs, but also improve delivery speed, being local already in the market by a warehouse, and decision makers being local. But this localized approach is typically more expensive in managing the supply chain and especially the infrastructure, and also having the inventory on the balance sheet in local warehouses. So there is a kind of classic conflict between that. And at least what we see, what we could offer as heyworld is a kind of best of both worlds, hopefully, when we combine the idea of essential warehouse from which you could serve several markets through an efficient inventory management by a fast and at the same time localized distribution. We do that by integrating air freight in our services in the line haul. Mostly we use the so-called belly capacity from passenger aircraft to serve markets. We have a very dense network across Europe, which we could cater. And this helps us to be already fast in the line haul and then connect the local services, and not only within Europe, but also to the US. In the US, for example, we also use multiple injection points, which also speeds up services on the ground.
Basically, what you're saying is that, of course, everyone wants to have one central warehouse if there were no other constraints. I mean, you don't want to split your stock because that means having more stock, and probably also if things get old, then you have multiple items, getting old in multiple places. You just want one stock is easier, but there's normally a trade-off. And what you're trying to find here is a way to sort of offset that trade-off and say, well, you can actually do it quickly and cost efficiently, even though you have a central warehouse. That's basically
that's the main idea. And maybe on the next slide here, just to give you some insights about what we could do. As said, we build our service around the idea that we are much faster than a standard service, kind of mail service, I would say, but being much more cost efficient than express services. And that leads to the fact that we could serve from a warehouse to door to the US the consumers within 4 to 6 days, and the other way around applies the same. So from the US to Europe within 4 to 6 days to the doorstep of the consumer. And in Europe, obviously, the closer markets to Frankfurt, we won't serve by air. We also use trucks, but especially for the distant EU markets, we could serve these countries within 2 to 3 days to a consumer, again, with a localized last mile provider. And we offer the full supply chain, or if wished, only parts of it, from the pickup to the delivery is orchestrated and coordinated by us. And we see really large benefits that also our customers communicate to us, having one bigger customer who was able to significantly reduce delivery times for a distant European market. Obviously, we serve it from a warehouse in Germany, but reduced these delivery times by half and was able to increase revenues by 25% over 6 months. So this really shows how important time is, and how customers are also willing to pay and order products if they have reliable and fast delivery times, especially if the markets itself are a bit distant to Central Europe.
Yeah. And I guess it means also that you're, I mean, as a retailer, you can be perceived as very local, even if you in practice you aren't. I mean, you can have a
Yes.
local site, you can have local languages, everything can be very localized. And then you can also have this local delivery experience with the local last mile and the lead time. But actually, it's almost like you had a warehouse store.
Yeah. I think the consumer won't sense a difference from a kind of local warehouse and local delivery to the central warehouse and the connection we offer through this expedited service that we provide.
Yeah. So if I summarize this, then so basically, I mean, one way to solve this contradiction between the delivery experience and the cost is to leverage last mile carriers still. So you have the sort of really good experience of the local last mile carrier because they're the ones investing in the fine grained network and the really sort of nice experience from the consumer's point of view. But you combine it with the efficiency of a centralized warehouse, and then you have this sort of special thing with the line hauls, and then even using belly cargo, airline cargos, I mean air freight cargo, as a way to kind of make this fast enough. And you do then these direct injections into the local networks of the last mile carriers.
Yeah, that's exactly the value that is generated for really efficient and affordable prices, especially compared to express providers.
It's a very interesting approach. Let's then look ahead a little bit. I mean, we've spoken about the delivery experience maybe as it's sort of expected to be right now, but what do you think is sort of happening next? What will people expect, and what will retailers actually deliver up ahead? What's happening?
That is partly a very difficult question, to be honest. I mean, if you look at the broader international perspective, the whole topic of tariffs and regulations and de minimis, this is the major topic and important for delivery experience, because there's a lot of insecurity right now in the market. What will happen there? I'm convinced that this international business won't go away, and the consumers will further have a demand for e-commerce products delivered internationally, cross-border. But for the moment, at least, there's some insecurity in that, because it's also very dynamic what's happening right now. But what we can already see, and that applies today, but even more tomorrow, is that data is important and will be even more important in future to handle international cross-border e-commerce efficiently and fast, because all authorities, be it for tariffs or something else, will require product information and information about the recipients to handle these processes efficiently. So this is the general theme, I would say. But maybe more on a service side, irrespective of this general topic, I think D2C stays an important topic. So direct to a consumer, from a production, potentially even from a kind of central, far distant warehouse that is close to production. Especially now with Amazon Haul also entering in that market, I think this is something that will further rise and be important for international e-commerce.
And would you include, I mean, in that D2C scope, I think some brands are starting to more sell directly, like less through retailers and more on their own stores. I mean, would you include that in this trend as well? That the brand owners
Difficult to say, but because also the brands put, I mean, there are marketplaces doing that on the one hand, and some marketplaces sell that directly, and on the other hand, there are obviously also brands having the opportunity to sell directly from centralized warehouse close to production, for example.
Yeah. Skipping a step almost in the supply chain, not having this local store anymore, but one global web shop.
True. And besides that, I think everything that makes delivery faster, more reliable, more convenient, potentially more local, especially in terms of convenience by selecting timeframes, so selecting places for parcel delivery, being even more transparent, this stays as a major driver, especially if you are capable to offer that for same or less costs compared to today.
I guess
so that could be everything and every innovation possible. Of course, you could think about AI supporting all of that. Not stepping into the details here, but I think there are for sure potentials for increased efficiency there, for predictive solutions by AI to improve delivery.
And I guess there's one more thing that maybe you didn't mention, but of course there's this whole sustainability thing as well. Like, what's the impact from all this shipping, let's say?
I mean, true. Yeah, and this is, I believe, a general thing in terms of consume. But it's also a topic, obviously, for transportation. And there is a demand for sustainable solutions. We offer that, for example, by sustainable aviation fuel or compensation solutions. But obviously, these solutions and this demand is connected to cost somehow. And what is at the moment at least difficult to judge is, like with the delivery speed, what is the trade-off of this demand compared to the cost, and what is the willingness to pay of consumers to prioritize sustainability versus costs? And this is still not clear, but maybe we have a chance to see that also from this round through the poll, what the listeners believe is more important.
Yes, we will very soon. But just to sum up, so I think we talked about accelerated delivery, a fast delivery, and also combined with sort of visibility. We talked about the sort of global brands, local delivery, or D2C that you can centralize, but you still want to be seen local. That's even more. And then the sort of maybe the big question mark then still is the sustainability. And I guess when talking about sustainability from a retail perspective, you have always the question, you have the shipping part, but you also have the whole life cycle of the product and what's the sort of impact from producing it, using it, reusing it, which I think fits into something slightly different that we will come back to actually in a later webinar this week about circular commerce and how does all of that work. But that's for another day. Going down into this poll that we made. So these are the answers we got when we asked consumers, predominantly in the Nordics, around 4,000 people, these 4 options. So as you can see, price is still the winner. When people make a selection of a delivery option, they want to have the lowest cost. But fast delivery and even having the possibility to actually make a choice, which I think means that you want to have something convenient. Those are both sort of seconds, very close to each other. And maybe unfortunately, I think for the planet, sustainability is still not the sort of the most important. It's the least important here. And I guess it's sort of the way to interpret is that people want things to be sustainable as long as it's also low cost, which is, of course, a bit of a contradiction. And then I just want to tell you about the result of our poll. So what you thought here, listening, was the most important, was actually choice, which is maybe a little bit implicit here in the question, but that was the most common. Low cost was number 2, fast delivery was number 3, and you also thought, only 2% of you thought that sustainable delivery was the most important. So I think you have, the people here have a pretty good understanding of the consumer base, I think. Excellent. Thanks a lot, Boris. Super nice to talk to you. A lot of good insights about the industry and what's happening. Hopefully it was valuable for everyone listening as well. We will send out a recording, as you may have seen in the chat. So with that, I think we thank you all for joining and listening, and wish you a nice day.
Thanks, Johan.